Hello, hello, and welcome to the Rock Metal Podcast. I'm your host, John Harris, and right here is my beautiful accomplice, Avila. She's going to be joining us today, and we have MASTIFF with a new album called Leave Me the Ashes of the Earth, which was released on September 10th via Entertainment One. Right now I'm being joined by James, who does the guitars, as I'm told, to share some more information about what is going on. So, James, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, John. Very, very happy to be joining you today.
Absolutely. Well, I was super excited because, all this stuff, for you guys, this is old news. This happened 20 years ago. But, you even said you guys are writing some new material. So this is going to be a very exciting interview, especially for people who are super excited to hear that MASTIFF has got even newer material.
Well, it's in the oven and nothing's ready yet. I mean, it's early days. But we like to stay on top of our game, and we don't want to we were forced to take most of last year out and not really be that productive. So we're just kind of getting back on the horse now and trying to see what we can shake out.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully, some more dewormer for anybody who needs it.
Yeah, I mean you got to trust the science in that.
You do, you really do.
Yeah.
Cool.
The stupid ones of us are getting these silly vaccines, but the horse deworm is where it's really at.
Yeah, because we really missed the boat on that one. By the way, today's call is brought to you by 5G. That's why we're able to chat from across the pond.
Woo!
Woo! Okay, James, you're wearing an HM2 shirt. Talk to us about that. Is that showcased anywhere in your guitar work? Is it just a cool shirt?
All of the above. Yeah, I mean this specifically is actually a Rotten Sound shirt, but I bought it because I love that band and because I will not just the t-shirt. I'll show you if I can get it clearly on the camera. I have a tattoo of an HM2 as well.
Oh,
that's how firmly I worship at the altar of the Swedish chainsaw guitar tone.
That's awesome. It looked like it was dimed out on your tattoo as well.
Oh yeah, maxed out. I mean, you can't really use that pedal at any other settings. There's no room for nuance in at least the original HM2. A lot of the modern clones and like the new sort of Wazacraft Boss HM2 that they've got, I think, have got a little bit more versatility. But yeah, the classic pedal, it's all or nothing.
Yeah, I've considered bringing them onto the show to just go, so you guys are taking a classic that just works the way it does, and why? Why?
But yeah, no, I definitely it's part of my my arsenal. I wouldn't say MASTIFF sounds like a traditional sort of quote unquote HM2 band, because I think just because me and Phil, the other guitar player, we try and sort of have quite disparate guitar sounds. He goes for a lot more sort of kind of chunky tone with his guitar, and so they kind of balance each other out. I think if we're both rocking the HM2 sound, then maybe we'd fit into that category a little more. But it's nice. I know it's there. I know that it's on the record. I know that I bust it out when we play live, and that's enough for me.
Uh-huh. Okay, so many continued questions on that. Now, I know one of the ways to use it is to blend it in. Is that what you're doing? Are you blending it in at certain points in the song, certain points in your overall tone? What are you balancing it with? Like a 5150 or rectifier? Talk to us, James.
Oh, so I'm despite everything I just said, I'm not like typically a gear guy. Like I live and die by my HM2, but I've never really been like a gearhead. I don't I'll use whatever works. As long as it switches on and it makes noise, then it's good enough for me. On the new record, I did use. We kind of layered up 3 or 4 different guitar sounds. I think I used for the main sort of groundwork of the songs. It was like an HM2 clone. It was like I think it was an Abominable pedals. It was the collab pedal they did with God City, I think, the Evil Ned, which is like a sort of souped up HM2 clone. But then we did sort of like overdubs of every song with like the live cabs, so we could get the full feedback at full volume, and that was the old boss.
Okay. There's another one that actually just came into my inboxes in plugin format. Christian Kola out of Germany, I believe, partnered with somebody to design what he considers to be a better version of the Boss HM2. More predictable, I guess he calls it.
Yeah, there's a lot of really great, sort of replicas of it on the market now. There's like the Left Hand Wrath and the Tyrant, and I think sort of every like pedal boutique artiste has got their own take on the HM2. It's a good time to be into that.
It
that
is
kind of sound, I think.
Yeah, it is a good time. And I just found the email, the Clairton Grindstein, for anybody who's curious. A company called Audiority has just created a plugin for that. So if you're a plugin guitar player or an engineer and you've been looking for the chainsaw sound,
that's the one.
That's the one, baby.
That's the one. If you don't like actual physical boxes in front of your feet.
Yeah. If you're just repulsed by such a midnight creeper and you want endless possibilities.
Oh, this guy is working the puns.
Now, Leave Me the Ashes of the Earth. What is this record about? Is there a theme? Is it a concept?
Not really. It's not really a concept record in the sense that there's a kind of a singular through line that runs through it. I guess the title, I mean, it was our singer Jim that came up with the title, and I only actually discovered in the midst of an interview we did a few days ago that it was actually a quote by the actor Oliver Reed, which I just thought he'd plucked it off the top of his head. So I was a little dismayed that it was it was taken from elsewhere. But being inspired from where you find your inspiration. But I don't know. As soon as he brought the title to us, it kind of fit. I think our interpretation of that phrase is very much that the world, every sort of generation that passes through the world kind of leaves a slightly worse version of the world for the ones that follow them. And our songs always deal with fairly negative aspects of life, a lot of political strife and internal turmoil, and the negative thoughts and that just sort of that muddle with your brain and that make life kind of difficult.
No wonder you guys are writing more songs. You'll be busy for the next.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We've got endless inspiration there. So yeah, I can do it too.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I mean, there's no single through line through the album, but every song is sort of deals with a different aspect, and parts of it are quite personal to Jim because he historically he keeps his lyrics quite close to his chest anyway. But I think on this album, compared to our last one, he's a little bit more sort of looking out rather than looking in, and there's a few more songs that are dealing with his or even some of our own like perspectives on the outside world rather than them being like internal strife.
Yeah. Well, anything else would be futile. You just fail.
Oh my god. I love this. This is like I'm literally watching a dad tell dad jokes about my band. It's
yeah. Well, the funny thing is, after I started a new job when my son was like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years old, and within a week on the job, they said, "Were you always like this, or is it because you have a son?" And I said, I don't know. I guess I have to ask some people. But no joke, James, the day I found out that we were pregnant with this young little lady, something in me just went, and all of a sudden it's worse.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm not a parent myself. I just always assumed that like you walk out of the delivery room and there's like someone standing there with your dad card and here's the manual. This is the jokes. These are the opportunities and the occasions that you tell them. You know, these are your comfortable sneakers that look horrible.
Yeah,
and that's it. And then you're a dad, and you're just a dad forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just wear a discount polo shirt and some New Balance runners for the rest of your life while you work on developing your beer gut.
Yeah, just nice, comfortable linen shorts.
Yes. There we go. All scalped and salted. I'm running out.
I feel like I was going to say you must only have like 1 or 2 songs left. You'll fit them in. I'm sure you will. I believe in you.
Oh, thank you. It's the hiss from the other side. Cool. Well, I mean, the funny thing is, I don't even actually know. It's not funny at all. I was noticed that obviously the album cover is an urn, and
it is.
So leave me the ashes of the earth, and so obviously the ashes of the earth are there. And I thought this is probably going to be the deepest conversation I've had all year, where you guys are going to be talking about I don't know, watching the humanity implode on itself or something, and we're so egregious we feel that we're going to be responsible for the ending of the earth, even though we're just another inhabitant on it for X amount of time. That was deep.
Yeah. Instead, we're talking about New Balance sneakers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think the thing that people find with us is that we're not in person. We don't come across as the band that makes the music that we do, and but I think it's because every negative thought, every particle of hatred in our beings just gets funneled straight into the band, straight into the music, and then it sort of cleanses us of all of it, and then we can just sort of sit and smile our way through the rest of our lives without too much worry, because we've dumped all of the bad stuff. Yeah,
you coughed up your lung rust. It's out.
Yeah, that must be the last one. That has to be the last one.
It has to be. I don't know how I can fit beige Sabbath into anything.
I believe in you.
Thank you. I mean, beige khakis, New Balance shoes, discount polo, and then you're Jewish, so you have a Sabbath. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
there you go. You wear your beige suit on a Sunday to church.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, there we go. Well,
that's fine.
You mentioned, on appearance, something about, I don't want to call it mismatched, right? But the way that I look at the artwork, the way I look at the band logo, I'm imagining something different than what comes out of my speakers, like totally different.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, because the way it's written, like Mastiff, immediately I'm thinking something kind of doom sludgy, kind of. And then
I mean, when Mastiff started, which is before my tenure began, I think Mastiff's been a band since about 2013, and I joined about 3 years after that. But certainly when they first started, they were a lot more not sort of doom in the traditional sense, but it was a lot more slow, sludgy, kind of like really, really low end stuff. It's only kind of as time's progressed that we've picked up our feet a little bit more and quickened the pace of things and
getting the runners on.
Yep.
Even now, when I look at the band logo, I'm expecting it to be Black Sabbath, but with half power to the turntable. So it's a little bit.
Yeah, which is I see that I understand where you're coming from. I mean, it's quite. I don't know. I suppose in some respects we find it difficult to define ourselves because at this point in time we're kind of pulling from so many places, influence-wise, that we don't really. And correct me if you think I'm talking out my backside, but I don't really think we fit into any easy or neat subgenre, and to be honest, because of that, it's difficult to. We've had our the logo, especially the sort of the M with the evil inverted cross on it. We've had that for a little while, but as far as the album art goes, we didn't feel like we could just have like a traditional death metal painting or just like a grainy black and white picture of a show with a big bold type font on it. We're in too many. We have fingers in too many pies. So with the artwork for the album, we kind of just left it. We once we'd sort of communicated with our artist, we just gave him the album and said, just like, figure it out. You listen to the album, interpret it however you see fit, and then we'll see what happens. So the artwork that that you see for the album wasn't based on any kind of mandate or brief that we gave. It was literally, we handed a very talented young man the music and said, make that sound into an image, and that's what he brought us, and we loved it. So that's it.
Yeah, I don't think you're talking out of your backside, James, because I can see your face.
Oh well, you think it's my face?
Very good looking backside. If only we could all be so blessed. Have more beige Sabbaths and you'll be blessed. Well, you bring up a good point, though, is whenever I chat with, serious musicians who've been at it for a very long time, people who make a career out of it, they tour the world, blah, 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 is you start getting into genre and they're like, whatever, the magazines will come up with that. I just write what I want to write, and there's that. Yeah.
And I mean, I understand why, especially if you've been around the block a few times. I guess you reach a point where, and I'm definitely not saying where at this point, but I guess for the people that are kind of legacy artists or that have been around a while, you kind of don't need to slot yourself into an easy genre classification to sell yourself to people anymore. I think that's describing a band as a certain genre ultimately is a way of pigeonholing them so that you can say, oh, if you like this kind of music, you will like this band. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. And some bands stick to a style and they run with it and just perfect it, and that's amazing. There's no shade on any band that doesn't kind of try and push their boundaries out, because some of the best heavy bands in the world just kind of found their rut and just dug into it. But yeah, I just with us, there isn't any. I couldn't say that any one specific aspect of our sound was so at the forefront of what we do that would define what sort of subgenre we fit into. Sorry, I've got something in my throat.
Some lung rust?
Yeah. Oh, it's still going. But I've completely lost my train of thought now. I've coughed all of my thoughts out of my face. It's
okay. If you ever run out, I'll present you with another question, and then we'll just go from there.
Yeah, sure. So where was I in my my process of thought? So yeah, no one thing. And yeah, I guess that's why it's difficult for us to, people throw bands around and say that, compare us to this and that, but just looking at people that have heard this new album and the reviews and the bands that we've been compared to are just so like all over the place that, I don't know whether it means we're doing something really right or like we're really like, we need to focus in a little bit, because there's really like, people said we sound like Napalm Death, people said we sound like High on Fire, people said we sound like Cave In and like Coalesce. It's like, those are bands that don't sound anything like each other. So I take it all as compliments, because those are all very good bands, but I'm not sure how to apply it to us. But then I suppose that's everyone else's job to listen and judge it, not ours. We just make the noise.
I know, quite literally. Well, those two bands in general. I mean, let's hash this out for a second, James. So, Napalm Death and High on Fire. If I were to try and think about what unifies those two on the Venn diagram, for me, it's that it sounds like it's going to come off the rails at any minute. Yeah,
that's very fair. And I guess that applies to us. I mean, with those guys, it's just, I think it's because they're just so like full on. With us, it's because we just kind of don't play our instruments very well.
Well, speaking of which, and I mean, I guess it fits to look at the Repulse video. to take a look at you and your power stance standing over on the left-hand side. I noticed on all the music videos, you're on the left-hand side. Is that your side?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't think we ever really established sides. It's just kind of... I'm quite easygoing when it comes to that. We usually just sort of show up at shows, and then Phil decides which side of the stage he likes the look of, and then I'll just go wherever. But I always feel bad because I do move around on stage quite a bit, and I always just completely like block our bass player Dan out. I don't think anyone's ever seen him before.
That's what's happening in Repulse right now. This screenshot that I'm looking at, 2 minutes and 26 seconds. If you freeze frame it, you have a 6-foot power stance. Like, that's how we judge a safe distance to have a conversation in pandemic era.
Yeah, we'll get the Phil line at Thin Lizzy, legs akimbo stance, and then as long as I have a person on either side of me and they're a safe distance from each other.
Yeah. Cool. So anybody who's still listening in, because statistically that's not possible, but if anybody is still listening in to the interview and you're in a band, comment down below. What side of the stage do you like to be on? And is it a thing? I remember years ago, I was in a band where the guitar player and I, we hashed that out early on. I was like, I want to be on, I think it was the left side. And he was like, perfect, I want to be on the right side. And we did that for every single show. I don't know that it saved any time at any point, anywhere. But I remember that being a thing.
But it's just one, it's one less decision for you to make every night. And
exactly.
You have to, especially when you're turning up at venues you've never been to with sound engineers you've never worked with before. There's a lot of variables at a live show. So having that one little microscopic decision made for you before you even walk through the door, I suppose that's a good thing.
That's right. That is very correct. And the one last question I have is just about your guitar, because one of the things that we chat about here on the show is, dude, tell us about your pickups. So,
again, you remember when I said at the beginning that I'm not really a gear guy?
Yeah, you're not a gear guy.
I'm not really a gear guy. I genuinely have no idea what pickups are in my guitar. I actually bought that, the White Jackson that I'm playing in the Repulse video, I bought that from Phil, our other guitar player. And I know that the pickups in it he put them in. They're not the stock pickups. But I have no idea what they are. And
wow.
I've completely ruined your question. I'm really sorry. I'm genuinely I do not. If it sounds fine then I'm fine with it. And one day maybe I'll be in a position where I have a bit more choice in what I play, and then maybe I'll start paying more attention. But right now I've got a thing that does the thing I need it to do, and that's more than enough for me.
Yeah. No, I find there are two different kinds of guitar players. There's you, James, and then there's me, John. And I'm the guy who will spend 5 years going, no, it's not perfect yet. And then change one little thing and be like, yes, there it is. And then 2 minutes later, no. I spent this summer at one point watching a YouTube video where somebody was auditioning 28 different guitar pickups at 3:00 in the morning. It's a problem, James. And then I listened to somebody like you, and I'm like, can I have that level of bliss? Can I just go into the store?
Yeah, this sweet ignorance of just being like, yeah, that looks cool, fine. Here's money.
Sounds like a guitar to me. Can we get going? Man, that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not always worked out for me. I've ended up playing guitars that were wholly unsuited for the kind of music that I've been trying to play, just because I thought the guitar looked cool. But you live and you learn. You sell the thing that doesn't work and you buy something else, and if that does work, then yay, then we're done.
Yeah, actually, I also read an interview with Mick Mars at one point from Motley Crue, and it was, I think, with Guitar World, and he was asked the question about guitar tone or something, and he said, if you notice, all my guitars really don't look that cool outside of music videos in the 80s. But he said he learned that a lot of times good looking guitars don't really sound that good. So he's just like, if it sounds good, I use it. I don't care what it looks like. I'm like,
I mean, and that's a great mantra to live by. The sound of it should be the most important thing, but he's in Motley Crue. He's Mick Mars. He's not the one that everyone's looking at. Do you know what I mean? So
underrated guitar player,
Oh, he's a fantastic guitar. But I saw I saw Motley Crue on, well, what was supposed to be their final tour when they played in London, in about 6 years ago. And I mean, I think the state of Vince Neil's vocals have been very well documented at this point, and he was no better on that night. But the rest of the band ripped. You know, they were awesome. Mick Mars can still really play. Tommy Lee can still shred a kit. Mm-hmm. Nicky Sixx plays the bass.
He does.
He does.
He does play.
And he looks cool.
Yeah. He probably drinks his green juice.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
Yeah, I would be repulsed. Ha! Okay.
Did you have all this written down beforehand? Be like, I'm going to do this. Just wait. I'm going to do it. I'm going to see how long it takes them to twig.
Maybe.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I appreciate commitment to a bad joke. and then it never gets better, but if you just keep running it and just hammer it into the ground, eventually you push through the wall, and then it is hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of my apparent skill sets is I can sometimes take it to the point where I act like it's a serious thing in a serious situation, and sometimes people don't get it. And I'm in my mind, I'm being completely ridiculous, but sometimes they don't get it. Like I have a straight face, and
I think we're on the same page with that. It's you're too good at deadpan.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, you sell the deadpan too well, and then nobody realizes you're joking. They just think you're an awful person.
I know. Well, as my wife says, maybe you can confer or not, but concur, not confer. Confer would be different. Concur. That the funny thing is, like, my wife loves watching British comedians, and a lot of times I don't get it. It's going over my head, and she's like, "How is that possible? You have a British sense of humor." And I'm like, "But do I? Because then I would get the comedians." So yeah, the whole dry, deadpan thing.
I mean, it depends on the comedians. It might just be that she's watching ones that aren't funny.
Could be. That's what I said.
Because being British doesn't automatically make you like a superior comedy genius. There's lots of terrible British comedians.
Very true. Not everybody's Mr. Bean.
Yeah, not everybody's Mr. Bean. And what a wonderful world it would be if we were all Mr. Bean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just how quiet it would be. Nobody talking.
I know. I'm trying to remember his name. My wife and I went out on a date when she was pregnant with our first son, because he came through on tour, cross-dressing British comedian.
Eddie Izzard?
Yes.
Yeah, he is a good comedian. He's a very good comedian. So.
It's not Izzard, dear. It's Izzard. James just told me. Oh, okay. And James is from there.
Okay. So I am from there, but I'm not pronunciation shaming you. You say it however you want to say it. I definitely pronounce a lot of words wrong, and have done for many years without realizing until I was told. Usually, an inopportune moment that really embarrassed me. So,
wow, that's a fail. It is. I don't know if you saw it or not, but the screen went blank because I'm like, shit, track list. What can I use?
That's glorious. A fail.
Yeah, that's right. That's a fail. Well, it was all futile from the beginning. Cool. So those who are listening in, you're on Apple Podcasts, statistically, more than likely. And Spotify, iHeart, TuneIn Radio. You're watching on YouTube. You can see how good looking James is. You're watching on the website, therockmetalpodcast.ca. Either way, down below this episode will be show notes. In those show notes, you can go to the band's website, mastiff-hchc.com. You can connect with them wherever it is you want to connect with them. That's their big hub. Also, as well, there's links to 3 videos that, as of recording this interview, are available to watch. Repulse, Endless, Midnight Creeper, the album Leave Me the Ashes of the Earth, available as of September 10th, which as of recording is today, but as of...
It is today.
But as of you listening into this show, that was like, I don't know, some time ago. But it is available via Entertainment One. Is there anything that I missed?
Oh, probably. I don't know.
Okay.
Who knows? We could have talked about a million things. We spent way longer talking about dad jokes and making bad puns on our song titles than I anticipated. So I'm sure there's all kinds of insightful information about my band that we could have gotten into, but you know, where's the fun in that?
There really isn't any fun in that at all. I don't think anybody wanted to hear an interview about that.
No, not at all.
I did see you guys are supposedly playing some shows in October. Is that still a thing?
Yeah, at the time of this conversation, that's still a thing. Yeah, we've got a 6-date tour with another UK band called Caligram, who were a very, very cool kind of... They used to be... I would have once upon a time described them as a blackened hardcore band, but they're pretty much just a straight-up black metal band now. But they're awesome dudes, and yeah, we're playing 6 shows with those chaps at the end of October. Tour ends on Halloween, so who knows what spooky things we'll get up to at that show.
Groovy. I was hoping to dress up for Halloween this year, but I don't think it's going to happen, James.
Do you know? I mean, there's nothing stopping you, even if you don't go anywhere. You could just
sit in the living room.
Yeah, sit in the living room dressed as, I don't know, what do cool people dress as Halloween this year? Like sexy vampires? Is that still a thing? Is Twilight still a thing?
Yeah. A couple of years ago, I dressed up as a chef, and actually, this would be a North American thing. I doubt you guys have this overseas, but there is a eponymous brand of canned Italian food called Chef Boyardee, as we say it in English, but I think in Italian it's Boiardi.
Yeah,
as if it even matters.
Yeah, as someone who pays a lot of attention to American pop culture, I'm familiar with this brand. Yeah,
sweet. So people would answer the door and go, "Chef Boyardee, he's going to make us dinner." Entirely unintentional.
Just a chef. No.
Yeah, just a chef.
Generic chef.
Just generic chef. And then we were planning last year until the world imploded, and then we were going to carry it over into this year, but the world has still imploded. So I guess you'll just have to bring me the ashes. What's it called again? You just have to leave me the ashes of the earth when we're done.
No, I'll bring them to you, and then you can leave them for the next person. Yeah.
We were going to dress up as Teen Titans Go. So any Teen Titans Go fans out there, our dog was going to be Beast Boy. Our Velo, who just saw, was going to be Starfire. I was going to be Cyborg. Gabriel was going to be... Oh, what was he going to be?
Robin?
Yeah, Robin. Thank you. And then my wife was going to be Raven.
Yeah.
So
you open up a world of possibilities for Halloween when you've got a family, don't you? Mm-hmm. Just so many things you can theme the children around.
Yeah. The other day, actually, somebody was like, "Do you guys do that thing where you dress up?" And I was like, "Yes." I knew exactly where they were going with the question. Yes, we do team costumes. Yes, we do. As best as we can.
It's cool. It's a cool thing to do with your family.
It is.
Precious bonding moments that will be cherished for a lifetime.
It will. Well, I'm done with my tea, and that's a sign that my questions are complete. So, as a recap, we chatted about dad jokes, HM2 pedals, how to dress like a dad. We also chatted about Repulse, Endless, Midnight Creeper. All 3 music videos are available in today's show notes, as well as the band's website, mastiff-hchc. And the album Leave Me the Ashes of the Earth, out via E1 on September 10th, is available for you to consume. So, James, thank you so much for coming on to the Rock Metal Podcast today.
Thank you very much, John. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've had a hoot.